Well, 2012, I had just given birth to my twins. And I think the twins were about 5 months old, and I went for a regular annual checkup. And the doctor took my blood pressure, and it was slightly, well, not slightly, it was very elevated. And it was a long situation only because I had just given birth to twins. But 18 months prior to that, I had my firstborn. My firstborn and my twins are about 18 months apart. And so prior to even having my firstborn, my husband and I experienced a couple of pregnancy losses. I was depressed. I ate my emotions away. I put on a lot of weight. I had weight gain from when I was first, pregnant for the 6 months. And then immediately a year after losing that baby, our firstborn arrived. So it was literally pregnancy on top of pregnancy on top of pregnancy. So I had, weight gain, and, didn't really have the time to recoup from, the previous pregnancies and from the losses. And so I think that was the huge contributing fact to the high blood pressure. And high blood pressure is very prevalent within the community. But yeah, it did scare me because, I mean, I wasn't like a perfect athlete, but I didn't think, that I would have had any of those conditions. So it really was like a rude awakening for me, if you will. It just put me into shock, but I just never thought it would happen to me. And so I decided, just based on seeing my experiences with my parents and, people that I knew within the family and the community, I decided to try and take action and do some steps towards, reversing the diagnosis. So the first couple of things that I did was I became more aware of what I was putting into my body. And I also did a lot of, physical changes as well. And so I made the decision to be, intentional about getting out and moving my body. So I would go out every day at a specific time. My mother, like I said, was amazing with her support, my husband as well. So I started walking. And every day I just, extended it longer and longer. And every day I just challenged myself to just do a little bit more than I had done the previous day. Learning about what this running thing was all about. Growing up, I grew up in New York City, and the only thing I ran after was like to chase a subway or to catch a bus or, do your little physical activity in your gym class. And I decided that I was going to challenge myself to start training for a 5K race, which is 3.1 miles. And so every day, I went out there, I ran from, one end of the block to the next. And every day I just kept going. And honestly, I got hooked. High blood pressure diagnosis really, it put things in perspective for me, and it just changed my whole aspect on life. Within a couple of months, my blood pressure went back to normal, and it's been beautiful ever since. So Black Girls Run is a national running organization that was started 2009 by two women down in Georgia to help Black women beat the statistics of high heart disease and high blood pressure. And so I became a member of the Black Girls Run New York City chapter. And then I decided that I wanted to start a chapter up here in Albany. And so in 2016, I was blessed enough to be granted the opportunity to do so. So today I'm currently the ambassador of Black Girls Run Albany. We have close to 700 members in our group on Facebook, and it's just a blessing to, post daily and encourage women to do whatever they can to hit the pavement, to move, to dance, to watch what they're eating, just so that, we take our health seriously. Heart disease and high blood pressure is the number one killer within women of African American descent. And so just being a part of an organization that sheds light on this and, continues to make strides to encourage women to move, it has just been a blessing for me. So we actually just celebrated our 5th year within the capital region. Yay! My first marathon, which was the 2015 New York City Marathon. My father was like, are you sure? That's 26.2 miles. But then he paused for a little bit and he's like, well, if anyone could do it, it's you. My first marathon was at the New York City Marathon. It was an amazing experience. No race like it. So at the end, my husband was there, a couple of my best friends, my children, and it was just awesome to see them at that finish line, to put in 20 weeks of training, getting up at 4 a.m., while everyone else is sleeping, and, going through, all these ups and downs within training. When I started running, it was to become a better me, become a better mom for my children, to be there for my mom. Longevity and, better quality of life were definitely some of the motivating things that kept me going and do keep me going up to this day for my running journey. If I'm not 100%, how can I be the best mom, be the best social worker, be the best friend, sister, daughter, wife, mother, whatever it is, whatever role or position that I'm in? So now I've completed 6 total marathons, 26.2 miles, and I've completed 4 out of the 6 world major marathons. I actually have plans or dreams and wishes of becoming the first Ghanaian to complete the 6 world majors. When I do my next races, whatever it is, if it's the London Marathon or if it's like a half marathon before, I'm definitely going to be dedicating all of my runs to my father in his loving memory. When we think about our health, sometimes we take it for granted. And sometimes we're not really cognizant of what's happening with us until we get hit with, diagnoses, or we find out that something's not, 100% within us. And so it does make me emotional at times, because, I just think back to what could have happened. What if I didn't know about the high blood pressure? You know what I mean? What if I continued eating and not watching what I was eating? Nobody knows what would have happened. Would I have even been alive right now? So it's just, the grace of God that, I thrive on. And I'm just so thankful for every day, every opportunity that I can move, no matter how slow, how fast you go. And I think that's a message that I like to portray to everyone. It's your race. It's you versus you, right? So if I'm able to run or walk, because again, it's your race, your pace. If I'm able to walk or run 1 block today, tomorrow, maybe I'll do a block and 2 feet. And that's something to celebrate, because the day before you couldn't do it, right? So it's all about doing what you can and pushing yourself to challenge yourself. At the end of the day, it's you versus you.